Hello and welcome to this live edition of Spotlight. So, after 2 weeks of intensive negotiations, a deal to devolve policing and justice powers back to locally elected politicians has been done. But is it a done deal? Well, the two Prime Ministers certainly looked mightily relieved when they returned to Hillsborough Castle last Friday to announce that an agreement had been reached which should see the transfer of powers from Westminster to Stormont on April the 12th. But there are clearly a lot of loose ends to be tied up between now and then. It's also becoming clear that in some nationalist quarters there are concerns about the potential consequences of new arrangements on parading and policing there, as Declan Lawn now reports.
My message to Sinn Féin is clear. The settlement train is leaving. I want you on that train.
It's 13 years since Tony Blair invited Sinn Féin onto the settlement train. And today the party's leadership are the only original passengers who remain as senior players in the process. And from the margins to the centre of political power, it's been quite a journey.
I have been at pains to make this place work. It's been my life's work over the course of recent times.
But Republican groups like Éirígí, who oppose the Stormont Assembly, are now concerned about Sinn Féin's final destination. The small fringe group sees the Hillsborough deal not as a step towards a united Ireland, but as an unforgivable compromise on Republican ideals.
The suggestion that it takes away the powers from the government in London is actually a false claim. As we're standing here today, within a very short distance of Belfast, you have Palace Barracks, where there are 300 MI5 operatives, none of whom are accountable to Stormont. They answer directly to the British government. There are another 5,000 British troops based in Ireland who are answerable directly to Downing Street and not Stormont. What is being transferred is basically civil and non-controversial elements of policing. The real meat as such, in the form of what they call national intelligence, national security, remains under the direct control of the British Secretary of State.
Parading is one of the big issues of concern for nationalist critics of this agreement. Here on the Garvaghy Road in Portadown, the Parades Commission hasn't allowed an Orange March since 1997. Now, nationalist residents in the area are worried that new arrangements put in place by the Hillsborough Agreement might lead to a different outcome.
To all intents and purposes, the Marchionnaith is dead and has been dead in Portadown for a fairly long period, and now it's been, literally placed centre field right into the middle of the various negotiations that are going on.